Now, welcome back to Money Talks. I'm Matthew Moore in Istanbul. Still ahead on the programme, the rise of the silver couriers. It may sound like a Marvel movie, but actually it's a South Korean phenomenon, getting pensioners back to work. Now, Nigeria is Africa's biggest economy and it's currently facing its worst crisis in decades. The fall in oil prices has hit the government's coffers. Now, today, it allowed its currency to trade freely for the first time in nearly 18 months. It's hoping that'll have an effect to help the economy. The naira had been set at a fixed dollar value until Monday morning. It immediately fell fast, dropping about 25% in the first few hours. Well, it sounds bad, but this will be welcomed by many in Nigeria, as a weaker currency is good for exporters.
One man who's happy with the new forex policy is cashew nut exporter Tola Fashero. Under the current policy, he has to exchange the revenue of his exports at the official peg rate of 1.99 to a dollar. But with the new policy kicking in, Tola would now be able to exchange them at a market-driven rate.
More exporters will come into the business, to do the business, and then more foreign exchange will be earned into the economy, and that will create more liquidity, more supply of foreign exchange into the economy.
Underlying the new policy is its potential to enable foreign exchange to come from other sources other than government. Africa's largest economy has been battling severe forex shortages as a result of a significant drop in the price of oil, which accounts for over 70% of Nigeria's forex earnings. Financial analyst like Johnson Chukwu says the new forex policy will open the doors for other sources of forex.
If you consider that under a regulated foreign exchange system, where the exchange rate was fixed at a price, at a level that was far below the market rate, it shut out a lot of inflow sources. So by having a single market rate that is largely going to be market determined, the central bank has introduced a high level of deregulation in the FX market, and that is supposed to positively affect the source of inflow into the economy.
An improvement in forex supply would mean a lot for manufacturers like May and Baker. The shortage of forex has taken its toll on the drug and food manufacturer. Its factory of 800 staff now runs below capacity, partly because of a lack of important foreign supplies.
For some letters of credit that were established, that we have received consignments and used, we're not even able to pay. So that has rubbished our reputation for our foreign suppliers. As far as they're concerned, it's the company they know. And if they cannot get their money, then there's no way they will be willing to supply you in future. So we have burnt a lot of bridges, and to even get in fresh supplies is impossible, because today I'm not getting up to 20% of my foreign exchange requirements.
Now, every year, 200,000 people in the United States need surgery to repair their skulls due to birth defects, injury, or cancer. Now, conventional treatment often involves the removal of part of a leg bone, which is then cut into shape and implanted, a process that achieves limited results. But 3D bioprinting is promising an exciting alternative, and it's big business. In 2014, bioprinting was worth more than $480 million globally. But the industry is expected to grow to as much as $6 billion over the next decade. So we sent Kevin McAleese to a lab in the US city of Baltimore to see just how far the technology has come.
It will take 16 hours for this bioprinter to recreate the skull of a patient with traumatic facial injuries. 3D printers and even printed prosthetic body parts are nothing new, but bioengineering students here in Baltimore are taking the technology further.
I'm going to print the skull and eventually hope to show that we can fit the bit of bone that was missing into the skull and show that it fits well with the patient's geometry based upon the way we designed the scaffold.
The work in this lab is all geared towards successfully regrowing patients' facial bone tissue. The professor pioneering the treatment says the procedure involves stem cells added to a biodegradable scaffold shaped to fit the individual's facial defect, a damaged jaw or eye socket, for example. The stem cells grow into bone, and after a few months, the scaffold degrades, leaving behind an anatomically exact replacement.
Like what you see when a building is going up, they create these scaffold structures and then they fill it in afterwards with the brick, etc. That's kind of what we do. We create these porous structures into which subsequently you're going to put cells. And those cells are really the building blocks that are going to create that new bone tissue.
The treatment has performed well in preclinical trials and will soon face its biggest test.
Scientists at Johns Hopkins are confident that human trials involving this bioprinting bone regeneration technology could be underway within the next 5 years.
Professor Grayson believes the work he and his team are doing has potential well beyond restoring the human skull.
There is a significant need for various types of tissues, all of which we can address using bioprinting. I think if we can have even the bone just as a proof of principle to show that it can be done with one type of tissue, this would have a significant impact on the way medicine is practiced.
In the coming decades, the hope from these US scientists is that tissue engineering will put an end to more primitive, less effective forms of facial reconstruction. Kevin McAleese, TRT World, Baltimore, Maryland.
Well, Gordon Wallace is a bioprinting expert, and he says there's so much medical research potential that's been unlocked by the advancements of the industry that we're only just scratching the surface.
So, look, at the moment, I think most of the investment is around investments in the machinery, in the new types of 3D printers. There's real opportunities for investment, though, in the things that 3D printing can create. Like you mentioned, in the medical area, you know, the ability to create a printer that provides a solution for cartilage regeneration or islet cell transplantation. They're the real opportunities for investment in the future. It's investing in those people who can create new solutions because of 3D printing. You're right, it is about money, but it's also about getting access or making access possible to clinical solutions that have not been possible to date. I think it will make clinical treatments more affordable for ordinary people, and importantly, we're going to be addressing clinical challenges that can't be solved at the moment. You know, we're introducing new treatments, and as well as these practical solutions, we shouldn't forget that 3D printing gives us access to do experiments, to understand biological systems, you know, to develop new treatments, new drugs, because we can control and we can create 3D biological systems on a bench where we can test these systems and understand them better. So it's not just about immediate practical application, it's fundamental understandings that we didn't have access to just a few years ago.
Okay, let's take a look at what's happening in the next 24 hours in the world of business. Now, the head of the Federal Reserve, Janet Yellen, sits before Congress tomorrow. Her testimony there will be scrutinized closely for any signs of a future rate hike. Yellen left rates unchanged last week. Germany's Supreme Court will decide on the legality of the European Central Bank's bond buying program. Now, the ECB brought it in as part of a series of measures designed to help kickstart growth in Europe. And the Consumer Electronics Show kicks off in New York. This year, the event will feature a flyer drone obstacle course during conference sessions. It should make it a bit more interesting for everyone. Now, retiring is a nice idea if you can afford it, but what if you can't? In South Korea, some elderly people would rather work than be poor, and even in their 80s, some actually like it. Their jobs keep them busy and talking to people. Shane Hum went to meet some of them in Seoul.
When he was younger, Paek Sung-uk ran his own textile factory, but now he spends his time on the subways as an express delivery man. At 80 years old, he goes to work every morning. On a good day, he'll make up to 6 deliveries across Seoul, earning him around $40.
I like this work because even at my age, I'm out and about. In fact, my legs are getting stronger. I also get to meet new people and create new relationships just by exchanging a few words.
They are known as subway couriers in South Korea, elderly workers transporting mail or packages via the subway, because anyone over 65 is allowed to ride public trains for free. In return, customers get speedy, reliable service at a relatively cheaper cost than other express couriers. Employers say it's better for retirees to be in employment than just live off their pensions.
I wish the government would create more jobs for elderly people able to work rather than offering cash stipends. The opportunity to earn money is better than receiving money for free. I also wish more can be done to support companies like ours.
South Korea has the highest senior poverty rate among OECD member countries. With also one of the lowest birth rates in the world, the country's population is aging rapidly. Experts say these changing demographics could lead to a significant labor shortage over the next decade and pose a serious threat to overall economic growth.
The elderly need money, but what they need more are jobs. Many are still healthy and need active work. That gives them a future and happiness. Addressing senior unemployment is just as important as youth unemployment, because the senior population is booming.
Beck's family discourages him from working as a subway courier because of health issues. But like many other South Koreans, he proves that you're only as old as you feel. Shane Hom, TRT World, Seoul.
Well, that's it for now. Stay with TRT World. We'll have all the news after this short break. Thanks for watching Money Talks.